Hello, my name's Jill Webster and I'm part of the Australian Storytellers New South Wales, who in turn are an affiliated member of FEAST, the Federation of Asian Storytellers. And it's thanks to them and this association that I found out about their Prop Swap series. And I did a workshop recently with Roger Jenkins in transforming paper stories. So this is the one that I've been working on thanks to that workshop last week. It's called The Great Khan from Uzbekistan. Once upon a time, there was a great Khan who ruled with great vigour, strength, wealth and power, but he also had great vanity. And he loved expensive cloth. He got weavers to weave him the most amazing colours, the finest trimmings. But he wasn't content just to stay in his own royal rooms. No, he wanted everybody else to appreciate how absolutely fabulous he looked as well. So he would hold great parades through the crowded cities and insist that everybody stop what they were doing and come out to admire him and his amazing clothing. Well, it wasn't just one parade, it was many, because he got all of the weavers he could find to weave him cloths of all different colours, all different styles and silky things and fuzzy things and any kind of texture you can imagine. The great Khan set them to work, and they worked and they worked and they worked, but if they started to run out of ideas, if they started to repeat themselves or come up with something unoriginal, the great Khan would have them killed. So you'll be shocked to learn, or perhaps not shocked to learn, that after a while there weren't that many weavers left in his kingdom. No, they'd either already met the great Khan and met their early demise, or they and their families fled in the middle of the night to avoid this fate. Which meant that when a weaver from a distant land travelled in to Uzbekistan, well, he was immediately grabbed by the soldiers and brought before the great Khan, who told him that he was under strict instructions to make something new, something wonderful, something that had never been seen before by tomorrow, or he would meet the same terrible fate as all those other weavers. Well, the great Khan showed him his fine collection of cloth, and the weaver was dismayed. He saw those fine colours and patterns and styles, and he knew he had an impossible task. He asked to be able to go for a walk, to find inspiration, perhaps in nature. And this was granted, for the great Khan knew that no matter how fast the weaver tried to run, if he fled, the great Khan and his soldiers and his speedy horses would find him soon enough. So the weaver trudged to the shores of a nearby lake, and there he sat on a rock, looking at this beautiful reflective water, thinking about the threats of the great Khan and wondering what on earth he was going to do. He struggled to find some new idea, some new pattern or colour or combination. But his mind kept wandering back to thoughts of his family, back in that distant land, how they would never know what had befallen him. Perhaps they would think that he'd abandoned them. His heart was not filled with inspiration, it was filled with sorrow. And as the hours ticked by, tears welled up in his eye, and one dripped to the still surface of the crystal lake. And he watched as it made ripples in the water, ripples that distorted the golden reflections of the sands and the greens of the nearby hills and the blue of that great Uzbekistan sky. And he saw it was beautiful and unusual. And he realized he found his inspiration. And so he worked harder and faster than he had ever worked before, weaving a beautiful cloth that he presented the next day to the great Khan, who immediately made a cloak which featured these teardrop patterns, rippling and circling in greens and golds and blues. The great Khan was very, very pleased. "Aha," he said, "I am going to wear this day after day after day. I'm going to have parade after parade after parade, and everybody will admire me. They have to stop their work, stop their schooling, stop everything for hours and hours just to admire me. Me! 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 Who?" The great Khan turned into a peacock, and he took himself to parade through the streets of Uzbekistan. And you know, those people, they did admire the great Khan, and they had gratitude in their hearts for the weaver too, who was paid for his troubles and lived happily until the end of his days. That is the end of my story. So thank you very much, Feast, for this entertaining and educational workshop. Thank you. Bye.